Welcome to the Moon Manifesting Podcast. I'm Kyra Howarth, your host. Here on the show, we talk all about manifesting your dreams with the power of the moon so you can use the cosmic energy to transform your life. Welcome back to the Moon Manifesting Podcast. My name's Kyra Howarth and it's so good to be back here. So today we're going to be talking about how to actually manifest your goals for the year ahead. How many times have you set goals and they haven't actually manifested? I know how disheartening and disappointing it can be when you set goals and you ask the universe and you really want this thing and it just doesn't happen, even when you work really hard towards it. Sometimes the thing is, we just need to approach our goals a bit differently. Maybe sometimes we just need to try something different. And sometimes, the universe just has a different plan for us as well. I feel that sometimes when we try to manifest something, and even though we don't get to where we want to go, sometimes we pick up things along the journey. And sometimes, that is what the universe had planned for us anyway. We need to go on this journey and learn these things along the way rather than get the thing that we really want at the end of our destination, right? And who's not to say that you won't manifest that thing later on in the future anyway. So even though I'm pretty good at manifesting, I'm a bit of a self-proclaimed manifesting queen, but there are a lot of times that I don't actually manifest what I want. In fact, I would say that I sometimes even have more failures than successes. And it's not because I suck at manifesting, I definitely don't, but sometimes I aim too high, I will admit that. Sometimes I set really big goals for myself and they aren't really that achievable. And sometimes I get distracted and I chase shiny objects. So there's lots of reasons why you may also not be manifesting your goals. Get real with yourself. Why are you actually not manifesting the goals? Are you perhaps chasing those shiny objects, or perhaps you're aiming too high, or maybe there's something else that's coming up for you. But even though I, sometimes have these failures, there have been some pretty amazing things I've manifested in recent years, such as my dream car. I got my Tesla, yay! I manifested my weight loss goal last year, which was a really interesting story. I've manifested things like my yoga teacher trainings, income security. There's so many different things that I have manifested that's definitely worth celebrating. And even though they didn't always happen the way that I thought they would happen, I think that's also the beauty about manifestation, is that if we just set that intention and we do the work, sometimes the universe may not give it to us in the way that we wanted it, but the universe will deliver it in some other way, which is pretty exciting. So I used to think that it was enough to put my goals onto a vision board and maybe say some positive affirmations and then sit back and let the universe work its magic. But unfortunately, that's not really how to manifest your goals. Vision boards are great, affirmations are great. I definitely recommend these, but you also need to take action. And not just any action, you need to take strategic action. It's not enough to have your action step as saying an affirmation every day. Yes, that's nice. It's going to keep your vibe high, but it's not actually doing the work that's going to manifest your goals. So sometimes you actually need to roll up your sleeves and do the work instead of just, doing the wishy-washy action steps like affirmations or subliminal manifesting music. I know I've listened to hours and hours of that over the years. So let's explore how to actually manifest your goals for the year ahead. So to start off with, we need to set goals, and not just any goals, but set SMART goals. And I talk about this SMART acronym a lot. It's probably something I learned ages ago, 20 years ago or something, but I still use this because it works and it just makes the whole goal setting process a lot more clearer and a lot more specific. So the SMART acronym, if you haven't heard of it before, it stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. Okay, so you want goals that are specific, So not just like, a very vague sort of goal, like I want to be happier or I want to be healthier. Like it's got to be really specific. It's got to be measurable. Like there's got to be some sort of metric that you can measure. Like maybe it's a certain number or a measurement or something like that. It's got to be achievable. And this is where it can be helpful to look back on that same sort of goal that you've achieved in previous years and then just upping the goal just a little. I feel that sometimes, like, one of my biggest downfalls when it comes to goal setting is that I will set the bar too high. I'll feel like, yes, I can quantum leap and I can, really do something that's like 10 times more than I did in the previous year. And while, yes, sometimes that can happen, a lot of the times it's easier to just take smaller steps and incrementally upgrade. So achievable is definitely something that is important to work into your goal setting. Relevant, it's going to be relevant to what you actually want to manifest. So keeping it relevant will also, help you stay on track with it as well. You won't, forget about it or get sidetracked or just like, forget all about the goal because it's not relevant, right? And time bound, like setting a deadline for yourself is definitely one of the coolest things that you can do when it comes to manifesting. And I will talk about that a bit later because that time bound part, it's super important to have that deadline attached. So choose goals for different areas of your life as well. So I feel that, especially if we're talking about like goal setting at the start of the year, you may have like 1 or 2 or 3 main goals that you want to work on, but we have so many different areas of our life and it can be really helpful to set goals in a few different areas. Maybe you want to set health goals. Maybe you want to set goals for your home. Maybe you want to set goals for your own education or travel. Maybe you have income goals or business goals. There's so many different areas of your life. And if you click through to the download section, I do have a handy worksheet there for you to download and use. You're welcome. And it goes through basically the 12 different areas of your life according to the 12 houses in astrology. So you can set goals in each of those 12 areas. And you don't need to use all 12 areas, but pick and choose what feels relevant to you, set goals, and you can set more than one goal in each area too. That's totally fine. Like do what feels good to you. And the final thing I'll say in this particular section about setting your goals is I want you to focus on what you can control. And this is probably my other downfall that I have experienced when I've been setting goals that didn't actually manifest is because I set goals that I don't actually have that much control over. You can't control other people, okay? And you can't control the external environment and things like that. You can only control you and yourself and what you can physically do and achieve, okay? So I want you to consider that as well, that when you're setting your goals, focus on what you can control, okay? That is something that's a real game changer, and that has really helped shift my ratio of failures to successes a bit more favorable towards the successes by focusing on what I can control. Okay, so we've set these SMART goals, hopefully by now, or maybe you've got a few goals in your mind already. So the next step is to break down those goals into smaller chunks. Now, this is where it becomes really exciting because it becomes way more achievable and you can actually start to see how you can achieve those big goals when you break it down step by step. And it's not just like some, big, overwhelming, massive goal. You can actually start to see your path a bit more clearly. So I'm going to use the goal of a yoga teacher as an example because this is something that I have now done twice. I have done 2 yoga teacher trainings, and these were both goals that I had set at the start of the years that I did these trainings. I did my first one in 2020 and then I did my second one just last year in 2024. So let's say your goal is to become a teacher, a yoga teacher. So your first step is that maybe you're going to research some yoga teacher trainings. Maybe you're going to, search online, or maybe look in your local area, whatever, comes up for you, whatever's available to you, you're going to do that research. You can even find like yoga teacher training and retreats and that sort of thing. So have a look at your options. That's your first step, right? You need to look at what's actually available out there. And then you'll need to select a training, okay? You'll need to actually say, yes, I'm going to do this particular training, and then you'll need to complete the enrollment. And that may also involve paying for the teacher training as well. You may need to pay up front, or maybe there's a payment plan or something. So there may be an aspect there of saving up your money to enroll. Yoga teacher trainings are often quite expensive. So that may be part of your goal, is that you actually need to save up the money to buy the thing that needs to happen for you to complete that goal. So once you have enrolled, you need to actually do the training, and this can take many months as well, especially if it's like a self-paced sort of training, or even in-person training. Sometimes they only happen you have like monthly trainings over the course of a year or something. So you'll need to actually do the work. And then part of your yoga teacher training is also to teach practice classes. So often you'll need to teach a certain amount of classes, but regardless of whether that's part of your course or not, if you want to become a yoga teacher, you'll want to start practicing teaching yoga anyway. So you'll do that. You'll eventually complete the course, you'll receive your certification. Once you've done that, you'll need to look into things like insurance, maybe registering with Yoga Alliance or someone like that. And then to complete your goal, like to actually become a yoga teacher, well, you're gonna need to actually teach yoga. So you'll need to find some teaching opportunities, whether that's teaching at a studio, a gym, maybe doing private sessions, or maybe even just creating your own classes, starting your own classes somewhere. So you can see like that broad goal of like, I want to become a yoga teacher, how you can break that down into smaller chunks, okay? So by now you should have a list of all these different action steps that you need to take to achieve that big goal. Once you've done that, here comes my favorite part. This is where you schedule it into your calendar. Okay, so you're gonna need a calendar for the year ahead or a planner. I have a really great planner. It's the 2025 Moon Manifesting Planner, and this is the exact thing that you need to do what I'm talking about in this episode. So if you don't already have a copy, check out the show notes. It is in the show notes below. So you're gonna schedule out all these different steps for your big goal. Okay, so going back to that yoga teacher example, like let's say research yoga teacher trainings is the first thing on your list. When do you want to have that done by? Maybe that can be your goal for January. And then maybe in February, you're going to be like, okay, I'm going to actually select the training. I'm going to complete the enrollment. I'm going to have enough money to pay for the enrollment or to get on a payment plan or whatever. That's my start date. And then then you actually need to do the work. So maybe there are 7 modules that you need to complete. So maybe you can do a module per month. Okay, you're going to schedule this all in to your calendar, into your planner, or whatever it is. You're going to schedule out all those little small steps. Use a pencil if you're like worried at this stage that your plans might change or something might happen out of your control. Like do it in pencil, like that's fine. You can always rub it out later if you need to change things, but just start scheduling it in, because that way, if it's actually in there, you're more likely to actually manifest it. You're more likely to actually make it happen, because that's all that manifest means, right? It means to make it real, make it happen. Okay, it's not really about magically something happens. You've actually got to make it happen. And this is how you're going to make it happen, by scheduling it into your planner or your calendar. And that way okay, in February, I need to have done this. In March, I need to have done this. And you will keep going until you get to the end of the year, and then, oh, wow, look at this. I'm a yoga teacher, or whatever your goal is. Okay, so you're gonna, do all those little small steps. You're gonna schedule them in, and then you can repeat that process for all your other big goals. Okay, some of your goals that you may have set, they might be smaller goals, so maybe this isn't as applicable. Maybe those smaller goals, you just put them into your calendar rather than breaking them down into small chunks. But if you do have other big goals, break them down into those small chunks and put them in your calendar. Okay, this is my number one big tip from today's episode, is that putting it in your calendar makes it happen. Putting it in your calendar helps you manifest. That's my secret. So you can absolutely use this process for any goal, whether that's a family holiday, big purchases like a dream car, writing a book, making a tarot deck. This is the exact process that I have used for years to manifest my dreams, and you can absolutely do this process too. It's a rinse and repeat method that you can use for absolutely anything, okay? You set those SMART goals, you break them down to the small chunks, and then schedule it into your calendar. So try this manifesting method to avoid disappointment by the end of the year, because instead of being another year where you don't manifest your goals, let this year be the year that you actually do manifest your goals, because now you know my secrets to manifesting goals in a really practical way, and you can absolutely do this too. So if you do need something to keep track of your 2025 goals and to keep you accountable month by month, week by week, make sure you get the 2025 Moon Manifesting Planner. The link is in the show notes. You will find that below, and yeah, it is the absolute top resource for helping you to not only set goals and keep coming back to those goals every single month and every single week, but it also helps you tune into the cosmic energies so that you can work in alignment with the stars and the moon to set your goals and work with those cosmic energies in a really aligned way. So make sure you check out that 2025 Moon Manifesting Planner in the show notes below. So what will you manifest for the year ahead? I am really, really excited to hear what your big goals are. The start of the year is a really fun time. I love this time of year. I love setting my goals. I love dreaming and planning and scheduling things into my calendar. You can bet my 2025 Moon Manifesting Planner, my personal copy, is just already filled with all the amazing things that I have planned for the year, all the beautiful things that I'm looking forward to manifesting. So yeah. If you are manifesting something really big, you can comment below, or you can continue the conversation on Instagram. You'll find me at kyrahowarth.official. I would absolutely love to hear what your goals are and what you're going to manifest for the year ahead. So with that, stay manifesting, stay magical, and stay tuned. I'll be back with another episode soon. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of the Moon Manifesting Podcast. If you are curious about working with the moon, you can read my book, Moon Manifesting, or join us inside the Moon Manifesting Coven. You'll find the links in the show notes, or go to kyrahowarth.com.